Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Subnet Zero. So far, we have spent a lot of time talking about the logical side of networking. We have learned all about IP addresses, CIDR, subnetting, VLSM, subnet mask, supernetting, and all of it in the previous playlist. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I would recommend go through that first because you'll find plenty of useful information there. But if you really think about it, none of those topics explain one very simple question. How does a bunch of ones and zeros physically leave a computer? So, this is exactly what we are going to uncover in this brand new playlist on the physical side of networking. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. So, let's start with something very simple. Imagine you have two computers, okay? This is computer A and this is computer B, okay? So, the moment these two computers connect with each other, this is what we call a network. Okay, this is a very bare bones example of what a network is. Now, imagine if we have three computers which is connected to each other, or four computers, or five, or six, or seven, all of them connected to each other, or 8, or 9, or 10, or 11, or 12, or 13, or 14. We keep scaling it up till we have like a billion computers. And not just computers, but also devices like your mobile, your printers, or whatever devices you can possibly connect to the internet. It might scale up to like billions of devices, even trillions. So the whole thing, when they're all connected with each other, makes one giant network. That is what we call the internet. I just thought let me clarify this one concept of what it is. Now let's get back to our original example of two computers. Okay, let me just clean up this board. Yeah, so now we have two computers at our disposal. Computer A, I'll call this, and computer B. So let's say if computer A wants to send hello to computer B, how would that physically get transformed? So let's say if computer A is sending hello to computer B, it's not going to send the alphabets HELLO to B, right? That's not how it works. Instead, it will convert it to ones and zeros. If you remember, we studied in our binary, the whole topic of binary in the previous playlist. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please go back and have a look at it. Any data, whether it's text, whether it's video, whether it's image or a file, and everything is converted to ones and zeros. Okay, but now how do we make these ones and zeros travel from computer A to B and B to A? So there are three ways you should know. Okay, first is copper cables, next is fiber optics, and third is wireless. Let me just adjust this properly, the screen. Hold on. So basically what copper cables do is that they use electricity. And what do I mean by that? Is that they convert this ones and zero into electrical signals. For example, take the examples of ones and zeros. Let me just add it over here. Ones and zero. So in such cases, what happens is that when copper cables is converting ones and zeros into electric signals, the voltage for ones will go up and the voltage for zero will go down. Make sense? Let me ensure I've formatted this properly. Yeah. So this is copper. We have copper cables, okay? Now we have fiber optics. And fiber optics, it uses light signals. When it comes to ones and zeros, pretty much you must have guessed it, very similar to copper. The light voltage goes up in one, and for zero, the light voltage goes down. Make sense? Now, when it comes to wireless, it uses radio signals. It looks like radio waves, okay? So this is like a very brief example of how data is physically traveled from computer A to computer B and vice versa. So in this video, I'm only keeping it just a brief overview of how the three mediums are used for physical transferring of data. In the next video onwards, we will get into a little bit of depth regarding all these three mediums, okay? So I hope this video helped networking, physical networking a little bit easier to understand. If it did, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing this with anyone you might find useful. Please hit the bell. We have only scratched the surface because we are going into the depths of rabbit hole, and I promise you it's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.